I know this is a weird topic to already come back to Evancast on, but it's very recent and I just have to talk about it. So, as some of you know, you can take one look at this channel, you could take one look at any of my other channels to know that I am a massive Nintendo fan. I absolutely love the games Nintendo has been putting out for years, and they're just really good, and I just really enjoy them. However, I can't say the same about most of Nintendo's business practices. Over the past few years, Nintendo has strived to be like, I don't know, like hated in the gaming community. It's so weird. I don't understand why Nintendo like just takes down things that literally are not the things that are trying to, like, they believe things are trying to destroy their brand, when in reality it could be helping them. It more than likely is going to help them. A big example, and what we're going to talk about today, is emulators. For some reason, not just Nintendo, but a lot of companies believe that emulating games is a form of piracy, and that's just not true. Most of the emulators that are online are free emulators, meaning they don't make a dime from it. They are just dumping the ROMs online for the games for you to play. And when game companies don't preserve their games, that leads to not being able to get it. So the only other way of obtaining it is through emulation. So why am I talking about emulation today? Well, it's because Yuzu, a popular Nintendo Switch emulator, was recently announced. Well, I mean, not today, but yesterday. When this video goes up, it'll be yesterday. Yuzu, a popular Nintendo Switch emulator, was announced to have shut down after a settlement with Nintendo, a $2.4 million settlement. Now, I think it was either a couple days or a week, I can't really remember. It was announced that Nintendo filed a lawsuit against Yuzu, and apparently today they had just announced a settlement, and I want to read the statement that Yuzu put out, because there's just a lot for me to unpack here, and this is just, it's not just Yuzu, but it's also Citra. If I'm pronouncing these names wrong, I'm sorry, which is a 3DS emulator, but I'm getting sidetracked. Let's just read through the statement that they put out. Hello, users and Citra fans. We write today to inform you that Yuzu and Yuzu support of Citra are being discontinued effective immediately. Yuzu and its team have always been against piracy. We started the projects in good faith out of passion for Nintendo and its consoles and games, and we're not intending to cause harm. But we see now that because of our projects can circumvent Nintendo's technological protection measures and allow users to play games outside of authorized hardware, they have led to extensive piracy. In particular, we have been deeply disappointed when users have used our software to leak game content prior to its release and ruin the experiment for legitimate purchasers and fans. We have come to the decision that we cannot continue to allow this to occur. Piracy was never our intention, and we believe that piracy of video games and on video game consoles should end. Effective today, we will be pulling our code repositories offline, discontinuing our Patreon accounts and Discord servers, and soon shutting down our websites. We hope our actions will be a small step towards ending piracy of all creators' works. Thank you for your years of support and for understanding our decision. So, from this, you can see why they were shut down. I think the whole reason that Yuzu was, Nintendo went after Yuzu mainly was because they were like getting the Nintendo Switch games and just dumping them online. Now, let me make one thing clear. I think that emulating games when companies are still selling the game on the market, I always believe you should buy the original hardware and just support the company. Obviously, I'm sure Yuzu intended their users to do that. They just, I guess, had a new way of like trying to play those games. And clearly, most people were using it to either just use it for piracy purposes and a lot of different methods. However, they are now shutting down because of it. Now, the reason I say that, I can kind of understand why Yuzu is being shut down as it's a Nintendo Switch emulator, considering that that's a console they're still supporting. So I kind of get why Nintendo would want to shut it down, and I wouldn't be making this video if that was the case. However, there is something that to note here. At the beginning of the article, it says, "Hello users and Citra fans." Citra is a Nintendo 3DS emulator. This, to me, makes no sense. Why is Nintendo taking down an emulator for a game system that they no longer support? Nintendo stopped production of the 3DS almost 4 years ago in 2020. I can't believe why they are doing this. And I know there is going to be, like, and I understand, like, okay, there's some 3DS games on the Nintendo Switch, like Miitopia. Okay, but what if people want to play the original? If Nintendo is not selling these games, how do they expect us to play it and relive memories? You don't. Apparently, you're supposed to fork out a bunch of money on eBay to go get a 3DS system, which I understand the 3DS, it's not that old, but at the same time, what if something happened to it? I just don't understand why Nintendo wants this emulator of all things taken down. Like I said, I understand Yuzu as it is games that are commonly being sold, but Citra, I really don't understand. I just don't know, like, what is going on at, like, why Nintendo has this hatred for emulators. The people that are preserving their games, the people that, like, they're not doing it. Okay, they are doing it, but when it comes to things like GameCube, DS, Wii, they hardly preserve that. And when they do, it's locked behind a Netflix subscription service. Now, I won't get into the Nintendo Switch Online selection because I do think it's pretty good with what they offer, but at the end of the day, there's still no GameCube, there's still no Wii, there's still no DS, all these retro consoles that would be perfect for it. Perfect for the Switch. This is a great way to, like, get people engaged. But Nintendo chooses not to archive them. They just don't. But then they take down these emulators who are doing exactly that. Archiving them so that other players can enjoy the games that they've made. I just don't understand it. And honestly, it's really upsetting to hear what happened to Yuzu and Citra. And I don't know if I said this, but I don't use emulators. I'm just not a big emulator person, but I do know a bunch of people who do use emulators. Like I said, I do think that Yuzu being taken down was inevitably going to happen, as it was emulating new Switch games that you had that are on the market. That I can understand. But why are you stopping people from emulating games that you don't sell anymore or don't even have anymore? May I remind you that next month, the Wii U and 3DS not eShops, online, it goes offline, which I understand why they're doing that because, it does cost money to keep servers up. But they also got rid of the eShop, leading current Wii U and 3DS owners to not have the ability to buy those games digitally. I swear, physical games are the best way to own games, in my opinion, and that's just because you own them. With digital games, you don't really own them because you never know what could happen. Like, if your system breaks, unless you have it backed up in the cloud, then there's not much you can do, honestly. But, yeah, I do feel really upset for what happened with Yuzu and Citra. It's unfortunate that they had to be shut down. But, like I said, I do think that Nintendo really needs to learn that emulation is not a bad thing. It is literally just preserving your games. It'd be another thing if they were just reselling the games. That would be a problem. But most of the emulators don't. They just put them online so other people can see them. And I know I'm going on a bit of I know I'm kind of repeating myself, and I'm getting a little heated, so I'm going to cut it off here. Like I said, I'm wishing everyone from Yuzu and Citra, the development team, the best. And yeah, and that's about it. Have a good one.